to win it. Up goes Burton and Clark. Claremont are starting to exert some authority here. Subiaco need to get a score on the board. It's 3-2-0 at the moment. The ball bouncing down in the Claremont full forward area again. Hutton is down there. It's knocked down by Monaghan to Cocker. Cocker back towards the half-back line, and Simons, who's been one of their few good players, takes the mark in front of Malone. Subiaco are under enormous pressure in the back line because of the fierce tackling of the Claremont forwards. That's close to the boundary line. Edwards forces it over. Not on the full, in the opinion of the boundary umpire. Throw in at left centre wing for the Tigers in front of the members' stand. But Kickett, Hutton and Miles in particular have tackled in a very fierce manner, and they've locked the ball in the Claremont forward area for long periods. Clark and Burton again. Hepburn is on the bench for Claremont, a surprise inclusion in the 20. Taken by Connell. He in turn was taken in there by McGovern, and will have a bounce down midway between right centre wing and right half forward for the Subiaco team. Claremont 3-2. Their goal scorers Guard with 2 and Evans with 1. And Subiaco are yet to score, and we're 16, nearly 17 minutes into the first quarter of the grand final. Norrish knocks it on, and it's taken by Clark, who's playing with great exuberance this afternoon. He drives towards full forward. Miles is the leaper. Cowell beaten by the bounce, taken by Snow. He in turn gets it to Golding, but he's claimed. Comes to Lee. Lee gets it on quickly to Snow. Good back up from the half-back line for the Lions. The kick out in the direction of Willett, but Edwards chips in and takes the mark. No, he's been awarded the free kick.
Scott Edwards kicks to half-back. Mark taken by Norrish. He loves a run. He's run to the members' wing. Hooks it to centre half forward. McNish has got the sit, almost the mark. Mitchell the crumbs though. He's dangerous. Around the goals. Kick across his body from 50 metres. He's put it through. They're brilliant around the forward line. Mitchell brings up his first goal of the match. And Claremont look very good in this first quarter. At the 18-minute mark now, they're 4-2-26. Subiaco yet to score. And the breeze, Barry, has not created this big break for Claremont. It's just been their great football.
Oh, yeah, they're just so good at the moment. There's Mitchell now, and that's a magnificent kick. He's kicked it on the 50-metre line. And sure, the breeze has helped there, by the way, but it still was a beautiful kick. But Subia having all the problems.
So now we just had to come away with the tries in the end.
Yeah, we heard he was a little disappointed at the break.
Dominating.
Clark beat Burton easily then. Mitchell gave it to McGovern. McGovern goes back. This was good run off the half-back line by Burton. And he goes back to Mitchell. They're cutting Subiaco to pieces in the middle of the ground. Hutton's on a lead. He's too good.
It's all starting from the middle of the ground. Like there is another example. I mean, they just won it out of the middle quite easily. And then when they goes to their half-back line, they're dominating across the half-back line. So Subi forwards really haven't had a sniff of the ball at the moment.
So John Hutton, the state's leading goal kicker for this current season, lines up from 55 metres. The breeze at his back, distance shouldn't be a problem. Just wonder what Bunton can do to stop the flow. Hutton kicks at goal. Oh. Searing drop home.
Super.
Fantastic kick from Hutton. And Claremont are on a roll. They've kicked 5-2, that's 32. And Subiaco are yet to score. And already the Lions are in hot water.
And you'd think that Adam Clark, he might even be a little bit disappointed because he's done everything right. That's a beautiful kick there. Mitchell, this is them getting it out of the centre here. And watch Mitchell here. He doesn't waste the ball. Hutton's on a beautiful lead. And then, of course, he kicked a super goal. But this fella here, T.I., he's done a marvellous job. He's probably not worried at the moment with Wolf now.
Wolf is on the ground to give Clark a rest. It's pretty warm out there this afternoon. He'll appreciate the rest, but he's been a great driving force, Adam Clark. He's taken Matthew Burton on in the centre, and despite conceding the best part of a foot, I would think, in height, he's won his share of the ruck knocks. It'd be interesting at the centre bounce downs, Ken.
Yes, there's only been 3 clear knocks in the centre bounce down, and that's 2 to Clark and 1 to Burton as Malone gets another kick. He's playing well in the centre.
Guard was caught under it. White played well in that situation, knocked it to his own advantage. Horrible kick, though. It goes up towards the half-back line. Peniz is content to soccer it to the outer side of the ground. And Claremont are dominant all over the ground at the moment. They lead 5-2, 32 to Subiaco's no score. And we've played 21 minutes in the first quarter. The throw-in is taken by Malone, who gets it to Han. I don't think he intended to. Han, a driving force on the outer wing in the early stages of this game, kicks to centre half forward, but Mitchell White takes the relieving mark at the back of the pack. White inside his defensive 50-metre line. and there's not a lot happening for him. Lee is loose on a short lead. The kick doesn't have the depth it required. Wolf comes in and intercepts, drives it back to centre half forward. Hutton is in front and did well to keep Monahan out. Oh,
has to be a free kick.
He's been penalised for shepherding.
He's made a couple of terrible decisions.
No, Hutton has to be
this fella.
Yeah. Monahan clearly jumped straight into his back.
Oh, no question whatsoever.
And even if he was shepherding, the ball was well and truly within 5 metres.
Interesting one.
Fortunate let off there for Subiaco.
That was another free kick there. He's going to give it, which was a very good decision, and it should have happened at the other end of the ground.
This is Burton with the football. Goes by hand. And centre half-back Panizza with a beautiful foot pass to the middle and finds Kickett. 10 metres the attacking side of the circle. Ignores the lead of Hutton. He's going longer. He saw Miles had the sit in the pack. At the back, it's marked by Mitchell. They can do no wrong at the moment, Claremont. And this is going to be, well, a start that Gerard Neesham would have dreamt about, I believe, Barry.
Oh, well, you couldn't get a better start than this in any grand final ever. I mean, he's coming in. Mitchell could kick their 6th goal straight to 0, so it's not a bad start.
Swans kicked 10 against East Fremantle. This is a good kick from Mitchell. Splits the middle. That's his second. And really, they are cutting Subiaco to pieces. I don't know what Bunton can do here to stop the flow.
Well, you can't. That's a beautiful kick there by Kickett too. He set Milesy up here, Jeff Miles, but he's missed it, and there's Mitchell behind. He read the ball beautifully there.
Sorry, Barry, I was just going to say there's not much Hayden Bunton can do because he's got his 2 best ball getters, McNish and Dargy, in the centre anyway.
Yeah, and they're doing all right. McNish has got a few kicks and Dargy's got a few, but Claremont just overall here in the middle of the ground are just far too good.
Well, could this be a premiership winning lead this early in the first quarter? Williams in front, but spoilt by Edwards. Chance for Coyle, having trouble controlling it. Wolf comes in, makes it harder for him. He threw it away, but was tackled high before the throw occurred. Now he wants to play on, goes for distance. It's a horrible kick. Miles runs at it. That's left a hole at the back of the pack. Well done by Hutton. Comes down to Kemp, who's caught by Miles. It comes to Kickett. Kickett gets it wide to Evans, and he gets a good bounce. There's trouble for Subi. Big trouble for Subi. He hit the post, but he's going to get a kick. And now Snow wants to go on with it with Miles. Subiaco becoming a little frustrated here. I don't know what started it. Mitchell's the player in the middle of all that. He's outnumbered 3-1. Don't like his chances, but they're improving now because Hutton's arrived.
Claremont certainly wouldn't want to do anything silly because, I mean, they're in the box seat here and it'd be just silly for them to do anything.
Hutton's saying to Bill Monahan, look, you're playing on me.
Exactly.
Evans has got the free kick and he's going to shoot from 20 metres out. I think Miles upset someone off the ball. There goes the shot at goal. Claremont have got their 7th. Evans has got 2 of the 7. It's 7-2 to nothing. 25 minutes into the first quarter.
Actually, it might be the only way that Subi can get back into the game.
Cause a blue, Barry.
Well,
it's an old tactic.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, Claremont have
I agree with you. You've got to do something.
I don't say that you do that. All I'm just saying is that that might be the only way.
It worked for Subiaco in the 88 grand final when Rod Willett upset Peter Molesso in the first quarter and put Molesso right off his game, and Subiaco went on to cause a major upset and beat Claremont 3 years ago.
I don't think it'll happen today, though, Ken.
No, I don't think so, Barry.
Bounce favoured Wolf, who knocked it down to Evans, who found some space there in a tight situation. White got rid of it in a hurry to Dargy. Dargy had one of the first kicks of the game, but he hasn't done much since then. This is Burton with the football over the top of Connell. Gets it to McGovern. Underground to Malone, who is bowled. Then can't find the handle. Is over the football, but gets it out somehow towards McGovern. Pack develops, and Vernon will bounce it down on the member's flank. 7-2 to zip. A brilliant start by the hot favourites. One can hardly imagine you give a side like Claremont a start like this and beat them. It will have to be already an outstanding comeback if they get even back into the match. Burton runs into Connell. Kick landed with Coyle, who fisted it to half forward. Back comes Burton. Williams and Georgiades almost got mixed up there. He's given the kick away. Williams has got the kick.
Tell you what, he was a bit lucky to keep the kick. Wasn't he ever, Barry? He was a bit lucky to keep the kick.
Well, he's a player whose blood rises very quickly, Malcolm Williams. Freeman's on a lead. His meter's in the clear, and he's going to chip it to him. Well, it took a long time to think about it. Freeman was 20 metres ahead of Gilbert. I think Williams wanted to go a little bit deeper.
It's the right man to give it to, though, just the same. 10 last week, and see if he can add to that.
Kicks 10 in this game. It'll be a record. It'll beat Eric Gorman's record of 9. And he's got 1 on the board anyway.
Beautiful kick.
Gorman kicked 9 for Swan Districts. And that was back in 1963, Barry, but at least he's on the board with 1. So is Subiaco, but there's still a long way to go.
Yes, there's a long way to go, but he's the right man to get it to. And he kicks a lovely goal. Now, we just hope that this might be what Subiaco have been looking for, because they certainly haven't been able to do a great deal at the moment, because Claremont have just been far too fast, too aggressive, and too clever generally. But that might just spark them up now.
7-2 to a goal. 38 points is the margin. It might be that Bunton will have to move Bremen from full forward to get him into the game. As Wolf goes over the top of Burton. Chance for McGovern, but he went without it. Kemp showed good endeavour. Coyle has it, gets it to Simons. He was pulled off his hand pass. Chance for Williams. Subiaco get the ball inside their 50-metre line again, and Willett has the sit. He got away from Valentine. Valentine was backtracking, as was Willett. And when they realised that the ball wasn't going to go as far as they thought it would, Willett was first to recover.
And he earned the mark.
He certainly did.
He will shoot from about 40 metres out, and this could be Subiaco's second. They waited a long time for their first. He's pulled that badly. They'll have to wait a little bit longer for their second. 28 minutes gone in the first quarter of the grand final. Claremont is 7-2, Subiaco are 1-1. And this really has been a spectacular start by the Tigers. They're playing with supreme confidence as the short pass comes in from Valentine and is marked by Gilbert. He goes short and finds Edwards. Too many Claremont players unattended all up the ground. This one's hand.
3 in a row. Well,
the ball's at half back. They're playing pretty short, and now there's no one on the mark. Subiaco really are in disarray. His hand goes for distance, but his kick is intercepted by Golding.
He lays it off to Lee. Simpson medalist of 1988 for Subiaco. Runs across the half-back line. Still he goes, confronted by Cowell. The kick was very wide. It wasn't a positive move. There was nothing moving up ahead, so he had to go wide.
Well, so this is what I've been saying all along with Subi at times. I mean, where did he go to there? He's gone from one half-back flank to the other, virtually.
Burton knocks it to the side of the pack. Lee, chance to redeem himself. Kicks it straight to hand. He was backed up there by Beresford. He's found Beresford with a hand pass. Good support. The kick to half forward. Miles up with Cocker. Cocker fists away towards the boundary. He finds that at half forward, just forward of right half forward. And Claremont into attack again on the outer side on a magnificent day for football. Burton too tall for Miles. Chance for Guard. Runs into Kemp, got a high tackle, but he ducked into it. And that's a very lucky free kick for mine. He ducked his head.
He kicked one from this distance earlier, Trev.
He did. He's going.
Had the wind right behind him here.
For distance again. Won't reach. In the square. Hutton didn't come down with it. Off the ground by Norrish. And he's put it through. Well, if it's not Hutton, it's Norrish. If it's not Norrish, it's Mitchell. And if it's not Mitchell, it's Kickett.
Or Guard.
And Guard.
This is a lovely kick here, though. He's got behind it there with the wind. He's well outside the 50 metres, but this is good work here by Claremont.
Almost the mark, wasn't
it? But see, they're backing up. There's always somebody there backing up. And there was Jeff Miles. He would have got it anyway if Norris hadn't got it.
8-2-50 plays 1-1-7. 43 points the margin in favour of the hot premiership favourites, Claremont.
31 minutes gone in this first term as Burton wins the ball down. McNish hurriedly towards centre half forward. Williams is in there. Coming in to assist with Georgiadis. He hasn't been able to get into the game. McNish beaten by the bounce. Taken well by Burton. He was caught. And as he was caught, the siren sounds. And that ends a barnstorming first quarter by Claremont. They kicked 8 goals in the first term. 8-2 to Subiaco's 1-1. And they lead by 43 points at quarter time in the grand final.
Kevin Mitchell, brilliant first quarter. We may see some of him in the highlights in a moment. 2 goals to Guard, though, and singles to Hutton, Evans, Norrish, Kickett, and Mitchell, who you saw. Miles, I think, beaten by Cocker in that first quarter. One of the few players who's down just a little. And of course, he had to travel with the Eagles to Melbourne over the weekend, so there may be some excuses for his game today. And 1 goal to Todd Breman. A magnificent kick from just outside 50 to Subiaco. Crowd has swelled to around about 15,000, maybe a shade more than that. And it's good to see the West Australian public have acknowledged this game of football between the top two sides, Claremont and Subiaco, but it's all Claremont. Barry Cable, what can Subiaco do to get back into this match in the second quarter?
Well, when you see that first quarter, I mean, that was devastating by Claremont. And when I look at some of the names, the hardest thing is trying to pick the half a dozen best players. I mean, it's very difficult. But fellas like Han and Evans, and Mitchell and Guard, Kickett, Norrish, and I suppose I've been a bit disappointing with some of the other players. But for Subi, it's very difficult to say what they can do. I really don't think they can do much about it. Claremont are just a little bit too good for them at the moment. But they certainly have to work a lot harder at the centre bounces. Burton's got to be able to try to give the initiative to Subi out of there so they can get it down into their forward line and give fellas like Todd Bream an opportunity, along with Coyle and young Williams. And if they can't do that, they're going to be in all sorts of bother, because that wind doesn't really look as though it's all that strong. And so if they can't get the ball out of the centre in this particular quarter, they're going to be in all sorts of bother come half-time.
Swan Districts kicked 10 goals against East Fremantle in the first quarter in 1984. Ken Casellas, East Fremantle never recovered from that, did they?
No, never did. And there's a lot of funny things that happen in football grand finals, but normally the side that gets away to the brilliant early start gets away and wins the game.
Okay, let's have a look at some of the Claremont highlights of the first quarter. Kick to half forward. Connell's behind. Almost a mark to Burton. He's got plenty of support. This is Mitchell, who kicks to half forward, and the mark taken by McGovern.
He thought about going, but Cocker had come across to block his path. He must be off now, and he's prepared to take Cocker on. Forced to use the left foot, and a good kick too. Great kick, and very well marked by Jeremy Guard. Blowing right to left. Han has been getting great distance with his kicks from the outer wing. That's a good kick from Guard. That is a fantastic kick. There's the first goal of the 91 grand final.
Burton, Hutton comes back to Cocker. He's tackled by Miles, post to the boundary, keeps it in for Maguire, confronted by Mitchell, got the hand pass away, but this is Kickett, the elusive Kickett, goes defensively. Norrish is now outside 50. He'll hook to the top of the square if he finds some space. He goes back to McGovern. He kicks to the top of the square. Cocker and Hutton. It's Monahan, rather, not Cocker. Over the top. It comes down to Guard, who hooks over his shoulder. That's a miraculous kick from Guard. He's put it through. On guard, Subiaco. You'll need to be in the second quarter.
That's a good horse,
He was trained by BW, or owned by BW Wallpipe. Brown and pink sleeves. Ken Casellas?
Well, Claremont set the path and the example in the first quarter, and Captain Mark Hand showed the way with his 9 kicks. We've crossed down to Tanya on the boundary line to see what she's got to report at quarter time.
Jared Neesham, Claremont coach, very happy with that quarter. He said it's a good quarter that's finished. There's still 3 quarters of hard work to go. He's very pleased with the tackling and the pressure applied, which he described as sensational, and he said that's what's beating Subiaco at the moment. Hayden Button offered some words of encouragement to his side and told him that the comeback had better start now. There's 3 quarters to go.
Tanya Armstrong, Clark, clean possession, kicks to half forward, awkward bounce for the Subiaco defence. Kickett sweeping in through half forward, hand pass towards the goal square. First back is Monahan, though. He's ahead of Hutton. He cuts in and goes right across the goal face. A sweeping hand pass finds White. He's pushed by Norrish. The kick, though, lands with Maguire, who hooks across his body. So Subiaco out of trouble momentarily. And they needed that favourable bounce out there because Claremont were there in number. 8-2 to 1-1, 43 points. The margin. No clean tap from that. Pushed away by Clark. Socket by Dargy to the middle of the ground. Panizza, bowled. Also went through Georgiades and Beresford. Kicks towards half forward. Cowell and Snow. Cowell almost the mark. Beating them pointless was Han at ground level. A great pass to the pocket. Evans used his body on Maguire, but Monahan's there to back up for Subiaco. Showed good speed along the boundary. Keeps it in play too with a pinpoint kick towards Williams. It beats Williams and Edwards and it's taken by Lee. Lee cuts inboard. He needed to show good pace there. He kicks it up to Willett. Willett's outside 50. He hooks towards the goal square, but it's all Claremont. Going back with a flight is Burton. It eludes him, bounced to the advantage of Coyle, and then bounced away from him again. Panizza's there for Claremont. He gets it towards Burton. Hunter's on the ground to push it out of bounds, but a lot of pickle bounces there.
They all favoured Subi too, didn't they? Boundary throw in at right full forward. I don't think Subiaco are going to get many more lucky breaks than they got there. Georgiadis could have got a kick. He used his body pretty well. Beresford has it now, sweeps it out to Malone. Malone on the defensive 50-metre line, kicks towards the half-back line, and Cowell is Norrish it was, is spoilt from behind by White, and the throw will take place at right half forward for Subiaco. Breeze still quite fresh, and favouring the end to which Subiaco are kicking in this second term. Burton with front position over Clark. It's taken by Malone, and then he lost it. Guard at ground level, and the throw will take place in the same position.
Subi needs something from Gary Kemp, one of their experienced players there. He hasn't had a touch of the football yet.
Surprise inclusion for mine, Gary Kemp.
Burton is 60. Clark is 26. Too strong. No, used his body illegally, in the opinion of the umpire. And Matthew Burton gets the free kick. He can kick. Goes short. It's intended for Georgiadis, who knocked it on cleverly to Lee. He's surrounded, gets rid of it to Coyle. Coyle hooks down towards goal. It's offline. The bounce will be the only thing that'll save Subi, but Gilbert was there to smother it. And he gets it across the line for another behind to Subi. They move to 1-2. Claremont are 8-2. So they have a huge task in front of them for the remainder of this game, the Subiaco Lions.
Gilbert, who is in doubt with an injury, took his place in the side, and that's a well-weighted kick, knocked on cleverly by Guard. Claremont's way. Simons is out there, though, for Subiaco. He's got 2 to beat again, and Mitchell finally takes it over the line and out of bounds.
Gee, why wouldn't Guard have marked that, Barry?
Well, I think he obviously assumed that the Claremont player was behind him all on his own, and he was trying to get the run of the ball, but you're right. I mean, I think if you're in position to mark, you should mark it.
Georgiades did well. Breedman crashes into Beresford. No kick. Beresford goes defensively and finds the fullback Gilbert, because Breedman was 25 metres upfield. Now it's with Edwards. There's a Claremont player down. I think it is Beresford.
Yep.
The kick to half forward. Evans comes to meet it. Crashes through the pack. Hits his own man in Cowell.
No, he was taken around the neck first.
Beresford is down. That was a lucky collision. Evans and Cowell and the Subiaco player got tangled up. Monahan plays dangerously.
Yes, good decision.
And he's been penalised for putting it out deliberately.
Beresford's head. Gee, that was an unnecessary one too, I thought, from Brent. Was it Breeman who took Beresford out?
Hutton's got the free kick.
This will be a good kick if he can kick this one. And he's a very capable kick, Hutton.
35 metres on the boundary. On his wrong foot, but he's brought it back beautifully. He's angled it in magnificently for his second. And he is a class act, John Hutton. And into the breeze, Claremont scored the first goal of the second quarter. 9-2 to 1-2. Here's the Beresford collision.
I think this was a little bit like the Pios pick corner. That was Evans. Beresford.
That was a terrible one too.
There's Beresford. I thought there were shades of the Pickering-Pios clash with the Beresford one. He was really taken in the back in an unnecessary manner.
It's good to see that he's okay though. He looks quite okay, young Beresford.
Beresford's off and Cowell's on. Evans was the one that we saw in the replay as the kick goes towards half forward for Subiaco, taken by Georgiadis. He should goal from there, and don't Subiaco need one? That's their second. They're 2-2, Claremont at 9-2.
John Georgiades, the man that they forecast would play a major part in this match, has hardly touched the ball so far, Barry, but they needed that.
This was there. This is McGovern there. Young McGovern really should have marked that. He looked as though he's a little bit tentative there. But anyway, here's Georgiadis, gets around. Beautiful left foot. But I felt that was let through by young McGovern then from Claremont. He could have put his body right into that ball.
Beresford's off with a cut head collision that we didn't see. I think it was Breeman, the man he tangled with. Clark. Burton favoured by the bounce. Takes possession. Had the money spent before he had it in the bank, though. And Vernon comes in to bounce it down. Clark given the nod by Gerard Neesham to start on the ball today. And it's been an inspired performance so far against the big man. Although he was beaten that time, sharked by Malone. Hooks across his body. It carries Snow and Norrish. Pickett's got it. Tried to run away from Golding. That's holding the ball. Good decision. Pickett said he hand passed it. Trying to argue with the umpire. Now Kemp gets his first touch and goes laterally almost to Cocker. Cocker on the outer side of the ground. Forward of right half back for Subiaco. A kick to half forward. Coyle up. Punched away by Panizza. Into the path of Kemp. He runs away from guard. Hand passes over the top towards Georgiades. Cowell in pursuit. Georgiades hooks it in field. Clark sets and marks. Coyle arriving late. Clark a courageous mark for Claremont.
Well, Barry, I think the only thing that could cost Claremont this premiership now is if they became overconfident. We've seen them do one or two Larry things, like guard not taking that mark earlier and trying to knock it on as Cowell's caught, and he puts it out. It'll be a throw-in in front of the scoreboard on the outer side of the ground that shows Claremont lead 9-2 to 2-2.
Yes, I agree with that. Well, that'd be the only way I feel, just watching the game in progress here, because Claremont just looked a little bit too good altogether for Subi, but it does happen. Players all of a sudden become complacent, and next minute, you know, the opposition are right on you.
Well, I suspect already that Claremont aren't playing with the same intensity. This is Dargy who gets it to Snow, who in turn got it further afield to McNish. It's chopped off by Panizza. His kick is not a good one. Hunter will run onto it. He's just outside 50 metres, chips it back towards Bremen. Gilbert takes him out. In comes Edwards, gets a good hand pass across the face of the ground to Ballantyne. Ballantyne kicks into the centre square and Mitchell takes the mark. He wants to go, but there's no leads. Now he's got someone loose on the members' wing, and that's Hand. What are his statistics, Ken?
3 marks. This is his 11th kick and 1 effective hand pass from Kevin Mitchell. The man who kicked to him has had 7 effective kicks so far.
Another good penetrating kick from Hand too, up towards the half-forward line, and a good mark taken by Evans. He's played well.
Beating Maguire.
Drives the ball back towards the goal square. Danger here for Subi. At the front of the pack, it's Kemp who trapped that cleverly. Gets the ball around the members' side of the ground, and now Monahan and Kickett are involved in a fight. The ball's out of play on the full, and so it'll be a Claremont kick. Monahan provided a very heavy shepherd on Kickett, and Kickett went back to remonstrate, and as a result,
he's fighting out of his division too.
There's a fight. Mitchell doesn't wait for anyone to break up. That could almost have been a free kick. That's Hepburn down there, who's come onto the ground.
A bit of frustration creeping in here for Subiaco, Barry.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And when you look at the scoreboard, you can understand it, I suppose. And they want to try to get themselves into the game, and it is very awkward at times.
Hepburn down to guard. Guard lost his footing. Strong tackle applied by White. I'm not sure how he would have got rid of it. Plays on with a hand pass to Golding, who's caught. Subiaco in strife now. It comes to Cocker. Back it goes to White. And now they'll get out of trouble as White kicks towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. This is Hunter. In pursuit is Burton, and Burton soccers it away and out of play.
Hunter, number 8 for Subiaco. Kicked a couple of handy goals in the preliminary final when he came on. Hayden Bunton will be hoping for the same recipe today. Burton and Clark. Burton over the top. He's just too tall. It's sharked away by McGovern. Here come the Tigers again. Kickett and Golding. No mark taken. Golding the best to recover. Miles puts him out of business. Good heavy collision there. Solid and fair bump. Evans got it to guard. Back to Evans, who hooks it. Goal! He's offline.
Right, you can see that coming all the way. That Subiaco getting a little bit strong with Claremont, and you can really see it happening, and the Claremont player was going to clean one of them up.
And I think everyone saw Miles coming except Golding.
When you're hit by Jeff Miles, you would stay hit.
Beresford is stitched and back on, and the cowl has come off.
Monahan, who's been in a couple of dust-ups in the match so far, to put the ball back into play for the Lions. They're still in a lot of trouble in this match. That kick has found Snow. He lays it back to Monahan. Very defensive football. He was cornered by Hepburn, who's on. Forced to change direction. Chopped off by Hutton. He holds Williams, who backhanded Hutton. Watch which way's the kick going to go. It's going to go to Hutton. And that's interesting. I'd like to see it again. Both players were at fault. The first kick, though, was to Williams. There it is. The first kick was to Williams.
Well, he didn't play any of those kicks. He just played the hit in the face.
He should have played the kick to Williams.
Well, I don't know. Personally,
Well,
I think that's debatable. I think he decided to
Williams
let the
was
game go.
retarded, and the kick should have gone to Williams. Hutton to shoot at goal from 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle. The drop punts offline to the roar of the Subiaco supporters. But Williams and Hutton really tangled
Right, here it is. We're going to have a look at this incident. There it is. Oh,
Well, Hutton was
there, I
taken
think.
high.
Yeah, it's play on, but you can make your own judgment on that one.
Lee is
There
off the
wasn't a lot in it.
ground,
There
and
wasn't a lot.
Hutchinson is back on. Now, Hutchinson's hamstring is heavily bandaged. I think Subiaco have taken a risk with this player, and it hasn't come off as the kick goes towards the centre of the ground. It was Hunter who used his body well, but wasn't able to take the mark. Subi with a chance to get the ball out of the centre here. Coyle's kick was smothered. Comes to McGovern. Claremont are messing around a little bit. Burton tries to go under the player with a hand pass. It's taken by Mitchell. He did that well, but he's got no one to give it to. Eventually found Panizza by hand. Back infield it comes to Burton. Back to Panizza. The centre half back is up on half forward. He gets the ball inside 50 metres. Hepburn wasn't able to take it. White gets the hand pass to Golding, who's under pressure. And he's gone. He's caught. Fighting desperately. He'll give away the kick for holding the ball if he's not careful. But there again was evidence of the very ferocious Claremont forward line, who put their bodies on the line to tie it up in that full forward area. And the ball is still within goal scoring distance. Burton is back there for Subi, reaching over the top. Guard kicking under pressure. Maguire is in front, but Evans knocks it away straight into a pack of Claremont players. Evans follows it up himself. He's caught, threw it away. Maguire is there, taps it down. It's taken by Mitchell. Clever footballer, taken high, but continues to play. Spears it across to the centre of the ground in Norwich. Well, they're going the long way home at the moment, Claremont, but they've maintained possession. Norwich wanted Dargy to go back further on the mark. He kicks high to centre half forward. Burton in front. Should have marked that. Comes to Hutchinson. He's caught. They're not out of the woods yet. Hepburn is in there. Not handling the ball cleanly at the moment, Hepburn, as Evans goes in and ties it up with McNish. And we'll have another bounce down at centre half forward for Subiaco. For Claremont.
He hasn't handled the ball at all, actually. I don't think Hepburn at the moment.
44 points in favour of the Tigers. Subiaco making no impression with the breeze. Hepburn knocked it to the advantage of the Tigers. Monahan dispossessed. Guard hand passes away. He was in a vice-like grip. Now it's Hutchinson. It's on behind play again too. This is Hutchinson. Snow. Sharp by Kickett. Stolen by Kickett. Goes it to Hepburn. Hepburn's shot at goal has been marked in defence by White. He's got a lead from Simons. Oh, gee. He's done that pretty well on the finish. He's running away from Malone. He kicks towards centre wing. Panizza's in front. And out there also is Edwards for Claremont. And he's marked, getting away from Williams. Put pass towards McGovern. Kemp, the late tackle.
Well, they're getting reckless, Subiaco.
That was reckless.
Gary Kemp had another look.
50 metres, isn't he?
Yeah. Look at this.
They're too loose. Subiaco are too loose in defence. Miles charges at goal. Kicks to the top of the square. Evans and Hutton up spoiled each other. And the crumbs come down to Monahan of Subiaco. And the custodian kicks short. Burton pulls it in. The big spider web gathered that one. Where's he going to go? A lot of indecision by Subiaco. They're rattled. Williams showed that with that attempt to mark. But he's regained his composure and was caught holding the ball. Didn't get rid of it quickly enough. But they're in a lot of trouble, Subiaco.
And I think he's got the umpires offside too now, Malcolm Williams. This is Mitchell. Through the centre he goes again. Very little pressure applied. This is the only problem Claremont are having at the moment, is up at full forward. I think with Hepburn on the ground, they're a little disorganised back there. Although Hepburn has applied a good tackle here and chases it up hard, knocks it back cleverly. White has it, but he's in all sorts of strife. McNish gets it away to Hutchinson. It's intercepted again by Kickett. Back to Hutchinson. He's got the dash to break the pack, but the ball bounced away from him. It goes to Simon. Subiaco are making a mess of this. Now it's with Hand. He's taken high by Kemp. And Hand will get the free kick.
The fight on again.
All that twisting and turning, it just goes to prove it's getting nowhere with them, is it? Really, they're really under enormous pressure because Claremont is so direct and quick.
But they've only kicked one goal for the quarter, Claremont. We've played 17 minutes in this term. Perhaps their second will come now. Hutton is on the end of the kick from the centre of the ground as Clark comes off and Wolf goes back on. And Hutton, who has kicked two, will shoot from about 45 metres and directly in front.
But while I think the reason why they haven't scored as more goals, Clem, I think you're right earlier, I think they're just fooling around. They haven't played as direct.
Not playing with the same intensity, are they?
It's too easy for them.
They need to kick a couple of goals just to make sure the game is well out of Subiaco's reach, and I think he's missed that, or has he? It may have sneaked through, it did. Another goal to John Hutton. He's got his third. He's the leading goal scorer in the game now, and Claremont have their 10th. They're 10-4, Subia 2-2.
Yes, well, already Bill Monaghan is, here's Mark Hand. Long kick goes in and John Hutton will mark this well in the clear. He's giving Bill Monaghan plenty of trouble, and Monaghan well remembers when he played in the 1988 second semi-final against Claremont. Here Hutton kicks his third goal, and in that match, in the first half, Claremont's full forward, Peter Malesso kicked 9 first-half goals on Monaghan, who kept Malesso down to no goals in the second half. But Hutton, 3 goals on Monaghan already in this grand final of this year. Mark Hand continues to shine on a wing for Claremont with 12 kicks. Peter Burton screened there 9 effective ruck knockouts, and he's got the charge of the ruck duels at the moment.
Burton, sharked by Malone, who kicks to half forward. Tigers into attack again. Coyle over the top of guard, fisted away. Simon's out there, beaten by Norrish. Norrish slaps it to his own side's advantage. Guard went without it. Back comes Simons. That's a boundary throw-in. And just before that, while we were watching that replay of the goal of Hutton, umpire Vernon came over and had a word with the Subiaco dugout. So what that was about, I don't know. Burton's behind Wolf. Honours were about even there. That's Golding at ground level. Burton tried to slap it on. Hasn't had a great impact on around the ground, Burton, so far in this match. This is Norrish keeping it in for Wolf. Wolf, awkward looking kick towards the full forward area. Miles is up. Went almost uncontested. Pushed out towards Mitchell. That was from Hepburn. Socket away towards the pocket by Miles. White's there with him. And again, a lot of elementary errors being made by both sides as the ball will be thrown in about 10 metres around from the behind post. 10-4 to 2-2. 50 points the margin. A brilliant display so far by the Tigers. Burton won the tap easily that time. McNish bumped by Norrish. Evans dispossessed by Maguire. And again, it's up for grabs in the left full forward pocket. Almost 19 minutes gone in this second term. Subiaco have kicked 1 goal with the breeze. Garrett lost his composure. McNish around his body, but it's all the Tigers. And Wolf this time takes a very easy mark, goes central towards Mitchell. He's marked 55 metres out, directly in front. There's leads everywhere. He's going to go long. He's put it up towards the square. Burton from behind Hepburn, but Burton's sure hands pull down the safe relieving mark for the Lions.
Snow clears the ball around the outer side of the ground, but it will land with Malone again. He couldn't quite get to it on the full. Good Shepherd provided out there by Edwards, I think it was. And here's Mitchell unattended again. Finesses around McNish and kicks in the direction of Kickett, who's 5 metres clear of Maguire, and he's taken a comfortable mark 45 metres from goal.
You know, Subiaco look as if they've dropped the bit.
Oh,
they look awful at the moment.
Well, they have since about 5 minutes into the game, haven't they? As Dale Kickett lines up. He'll kick from about 45 metres. It's a good kick too from Kickett. No doubt whatsoever. He's got his first. Claremont second, is it? Sorry. Claremont have got their 11th. They're 11-4. Subi are 2-2.
Subiaco, a few heads hanging down, Barry.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't look too good for them.
Yeah, well, they won't want to hang it too low at the moment, because if they do, you know, Claremont's just going to run right over them. And I think that Subi can get themselves back in the game. I mean, they've got enough good players there, but they just need to realise that, you know, there's well over half a game to go yet. So they just don't want to get too despondent at this stage, because otherwise, you know, Claremont will blow this score right away.
Guard in front of Coyle. Working hard is Golding. Kickett's got him now, but he gets it away to Williams. Wolf, the late tackler. The mark has been taken by Hunter. Inboard to Georgiades. Feigned that nicely around Hunter. Sorry, went looking for Hunter. Hand bump as he kicked. And the relay kick up the field is very soft.
He hurt
umpire
himself.
Garrett.
He hurt himself too when he bumped hand.
He did, but I didn't think there was anything in it, Barry.
There wasn't a lot in it, no. No, it was just how the umpire saw it.
It's a little late. Nothing vicious. Miles with the free kick. sets it up for the pack. Hepburn up, Burton in front. White, almost stolen by Evans, comes back to White, who kicks square towards the boundary in a pathetic attempt to get it out of defence.
He's done that 4 times, I think, today, young Mitch White. He gets the ball, and if he's close, he normally just kicks it straight out to the boundary.
Very negative.
Very negative.
Wolf trying to use his body on Burton, but Burton held his ground pretty well there. Kickett is ferocious today. He's in there battling again on the bottom of the pack. And doing the somersault was McNish.
Trev, you don't keep statistics for a lot of the work that Dale Kickett does.
No.
But, geez, he just locks the ball in there, doesn't he?
He's been terrific, I reckon, going at the ball.
Burton and Wolf. Honours again even. Knocked up by Hand. Pushed on by Malone. Coming to meet it there was Guard. He wanted to let it go for Hutton. That allowed Subiaco in. Burton goes defensively to Golding. Very negative football, and it will come unstuck again. It is shocking football to watch. Subiaco are rattled as McGovern sizes up the options. This is a pity for the big crowd. Subiaco are disappointing at the moment. Hepburn's in front, over the top White. Crumbs to Norrish. Norrish in the left full forward pocket. He couldn't find the handle. Now he's in all sorts of bother. It squirts out from Maguire. Simons hooks it around the corner, off the turf, and luckily for him finds the safety of the boundary. 11-4 Claremont, 2-2 Subiaco, 70 plays 14. Bremen would be getting very cold at the other end of the ground.
Yes, I think you'd probably have to think about getting him into the game, because he's one player that can win the ball.
23 minutes gone in the second quarter. Chance here for Hutchinson. He was brilliantly tackled. Ball spills towards Norrish, who gets it to Kickett. Wanted just a little too long. Chance for Burton to tidy up, but there's not much on offer. He had to go towards the boundary. He's tried to give his teammate a chance there in Dargy, but it was taken by Hand with Kickett again. Elusively gets it back to Hand. Hand from the boundary line. Oh, look at this kick. Another spectacular goal, this time from the Claremont captain. And they can do no wrong.
But don't take anything away from Kickett then. He was in the right position at the right time again to take the ball and then give it back to give Guard the opportunity.
12-4 to 2-2.
And you'll see it here where Burton kicks it off. Now, Kickett's coming already over there. Hand's got it, too clever. Gives it out to Kickett, and then Kickett gives it back again. So it's really good teamwork by Claremont, and they're spot on with some of their balder skills. Hand passing and kicking and using the ball brilliantly.
Well, Burton wins the tap, but again it's Malone. He's doing a great job of sharking Burton's taps out of the middle. Golding didn't mark, and he's in trouble. Hand passes defensively. Maguire. Hutton narrowly missed him, luckily for Maguire. And he's kicked it to half-back and found Williams. Over the top for Snow. Snow from half-back for Subiaco. Kicks to half-forward. Georgiades pulls down the mark. Plays on quickly. Kicks across the ground. Coming out to meet the ball is Willett, but he's outnumbered. He's got a lot to do. Tried to slap it back in. It was short-circuited by Hand. Hand kicks up towards the members' wing, and Panizza from half-back has taken the mark on centre wing. Gives it to Guard. Guard kicks long towards the pocket. Hepburn up. Couldn't hang on, and the crumb's taken away by Mitchell White.
I'm not sure why Neesham has brought Hepburn on at this stage. There's no doubt the Claremont forward line's not functioning as well. That was a big leap from Mitchell down there. It's taken by Willett, but he was surrounded. Valentine with a hurried, Burton, I'm sorry, with a hurried kick, and Panizza's loose if he can keep it in play. The ball bounces back to his advantage. He looks into the centre of the ground, and Mitchell takes the mark. The only reason I can think that Neesham might have brought Hepburn on is to do the right thing by the Eagles. Wouldn't that be ironical?
I reckon they look clumsy with Hepburn up in the forward line.
Well, there's no doubt about that. They got Miles up there, Hutton up there, and Hepburn up there, and they had a forward line that had kicked 8 goals in a brilliant display in the first quarter. And he's made this change. I can't think of any other reason why he would change that forward setup.
Well, he's probably obviously used him for height and so forth, but see, the fact that Hepburn's not hit, well, here's another chance here.
And he's got it this time. But I honestly think he's probably doing the right thing by the Eagles.
This might be the reason.
This
might be the reason. Well, now.
So here he is, Mark Hepburn, the centre of a raging controversy for the last month. Has the opportunity of his first kicked goal in a match for some time, and I think he's kicked through.
There you go. Now that's why he's put him there.
Exactly. Claremont have kicked 13-4. Subi have kicked 2-2. We're now 27 minutes into the second quarter, and I hate to say it, but I really do think this grand final is all but won.
Yes. Very disappointing display by Subiaco. Hepburn making no mistake. And they've just absolutely torn them to pieces, as they have done for the last 2 years, though. So it's no great surprise to Claremont supporters. A little bit of volleyball in the middle. Kemp finally got a hand on it. Taken away by Hutchinson. Subiaco going to attack. Gilbert going back with a flight. Awkward bounce. It bounces towards the pocket, then bounces through from behind. And I suppose that's a little bit of luck for Subiaco, but they need a lot more, as that board indicates. Gilbert, well-weighted kick, finds Malone, who's gathered a lot of kicks, Ken, and he sharked a lot out of the middle of the ground.
3 marks, 11 kicks and 5 effective hand passes.
Gilbert just floating down. They're doing almost what they like, Claremont.
Messing around.
Well, he's gone square for Ballantyne. The weight of numbers, they should get out of trouble. That's a silly hand pass by Malone. It's allowed Williams in, but Peniza's got pace.
That's how confident they are, though, at the moment. Gee, they can just do anything.
And they've broken away again here at centre wing through Evans. Coyle bearing down. He eludes Coyle and Kemp. It was well done by Evans. Class player. Wolf, guard, over the top. He drew the player in Golding. Now Pickett has a shot from 45, but he's offline. And, almost would have been the sealer before half-time.
It was good play, though, just the same. I mean,
brilliantly done.
yeah, they run on, they're very skillful, and even though they're well and truly on top, it's still a good display for the people that are here, because you're seeing Claremont at their very best.
That's a
I prefer to
margin.
see 2 sides in it, though, Barry.
Margin of 68 points. This is shades of a South Australian grand final of a couple of years ago, when North Adelaide kicked only 1 goal for the entire grand final. As Hutton gets it to Mitchell. Mitchell wanted to give it to a teammate. He's done that eventually, and Hepburn gets his second. Well, that was very unselfish.
Touched.
By who?
Goal umpire.
That's interesting.
Here we go. There's the replay. Gee whiz.
Doubt that.
I think he
Didn't look like it,
might
did
have
it on
been
the replay.
might have been touched by the umpire.
Yeah.
Touch and go.
Anyway, it's not going to make any difference to the result of this game, I don't think, as Monaghan kicks to the outer side of the ground. McGovern at ground level will drive this back towards the square. Hepburn is back there with Monaghan. Hutton from the side went too early, and that was something of a decoy, I suspect, because it allowed Hepburn to take the mark on his chest, and we saw them do that down the other end of the ground when Miles went very early and Mitchell took the mark. Now, Hepburn is being brought around on a more acute angle, but he's not far out from goal, as you can see.
And a natural left footer, piece of cake for him.
Spoken like a true Claremont supporter.
No cream on the cake.
13-7 to 2-3 is the score here at Subiaco Oval, and I just hope that Claremont don't let their game fall away, because it really will become a lacklustre affair if they let their standard drop.
As soon as you give them a rap, Ken, the players, they definitely let you down.
It was a rock cake, Ken.
Yes, well, Barry Cable was one of the best left-footed footballers I've ever seen play the game, and he wouldn't have missed that one.
I wouldn't have let you down from there.
He's not out there, unfortunately, for Subiaco. I'd like to have about 6 cables and a bit more wiring. Monaghan puts it into play as the siren sounds to end the first half of a lopsided grand final. And who would have believed that it would be this lopsided? Claremont 13-7, 85. Subi 2-3, 15. The goal scorers for the Tigers, Hutton 3, and 2 apiece to Evans, Kickett and Guard, and singles to Norrish, Mitchell, Hepburn and Hand. It's been a polished exhibition. He's been the architect of the forward line. Tony Evans has been dazzling at times, done some brilliant things, and really has been a polished exhibition by a class football team, and they've completely outpointed the Lions in every aspect of the Australian game. Hutton has been strong at full forward, well backed up by Guard, who kicked 2 magnificent goals early in the match. It's 13-7, 85 to 2-3, 15, and Barry, it looks like another Tigers premiership.
Well, it certainly does at this stage, and I only hope that Subiaco can regroup at half-time, and I'm sure that Bunton will work very hard in that area to try to get their minds very positive in the second half. But certainly the honours go to Claremont in the first half. They were just far too good, too pacey, too aggressive. Their skills really showed out. And I suppose what we can honestly say is, I mean, that's really been their form for the whole of the year. They've been the best side, and to halfway through this grand final is just showing why they've been on top for the whole year. And fellas like Mitchell, Evans, Hand, Guard, Norris, Kickett, I mean, they're just a few that you could name that have absolutely dominated for Claremont in the first half. Burton and McNeish, Dargy have tried hard, but I think all the Subi players have tried hard, but they've just been outclassed.
Well, there's some records that could go by the board today. The biggest winning margin in a grand final is 104 points set by West Perth over South Fremantle in 1975, and already at half-time Claremont lead by 70. So there are some records that could tumble this afternoon. The Tigers 13-7 and the Lions are 2-3, and our half-time entertainment is coming up very shortly, and two athletic races that I'm sure are going to provide plenty of interest for you people at home, and they'll be broadcast by Wally Foreman. And following the half-time break, we'll have Ken Casellas with the stats on the first half of this match that's been dominated by Claremont. Wally, you might like to pick it up and go into our running events, which I'm sure are going to provide plenty of excitement. I think the first one's over 800 metres.
It's an 800-metre handicap event, followed by a 120-metre handicap event. And we've got some of the state's leading athletes involved in these particular events. I suspect, or I'm led to believe, that the first will be the 800 metres. It's going to be very interesting in the sprint, where the out marker is off 30 metres and the back marker is off 4 metres. So that back marker, Ben Collins, standing the out marker up a fair start. But if you've just joined our coverage of the grand final, just repeating that at half-time, Claremont 13-7-85 leads Subiaco 2-3-15. The goal scorers in the game so far for Claremont: 3 to Hutton, 2 to Evans, 2 to Guard and 2 to Mitchell, and then 1 each to Norris, Kickett, Hepburn and Hand. And Subiaco's goals have been kicked by Bremen and Georgiadis. They're full forward and centre half forward respectively, but neither player has been able to get into the game this afternoon, simply because the ball hasn't been down there all that often. A good crowd here at Subiaco Oval this afternoon by current day standards, as Trevor has indicated, probably in the vicinity of about 15,000 people. And there you see the crowd on the outer terraces. I'm sure they would have been anticipating a much closer game than this, although, as we said before the game started, Claremont really have been dominant over Subiaco throughout the course of this season, despite the fact that they finished first and second respectively on the premiership table. Claremont enjoyed massive winning margins over Subiaco in the 4 games that they've played leading up to today, and the most recent of their victories, of course, was in the second semi-final when they won by 68 points. Well, here we are at half-time, and they're already 70 points in front. Claremont moving along the lines of that progression that we talked about earlier. They won the premiership in 1987, again in 1989. So on the basis of there being 2 years between their premiership successes, then they're due for another one this year. And I think the 800 metres event is going to be the first that will be conducted. They're in the hands of the starter, and the first athlete away will be Sonia Laurie. And she will enjoy a 28-second start over the back marker, Barry Akers. And I would think that would probably translate to something like about 150 metres in these circumstances. The second runner away in red and white is Craig Tipping. And the good thing about this situation as far as Akers is concerned, Akers is the runner just about to leave the start point now, and he is a former Australian under-20 champion. The good thing about it is that he has got some quite talented runners, not all that far in front of him, although there is a fair gap now, probably about 50 metres between Akers and the first athlete that he's going to have to pull in. And as Akers goes into the back straight, the leader in this event, the outmarker Sonia Laurie, who had a 28-second start over him, moved into the front straight. So he's got a lot of work to do over 2 laps if he's going to be able to run this leader down. Well, those athletes you can see there are just coming into the main straight. Now there's the leader in the event, that's Sonia Laurie, and she at the moment has a lead of about 40 metres over Craig Tipping, who's running in 2nd place, and then back in 3rd place is Damien Plummer with Stuart Moore running in the green. But that there you see Akers, and already he's starting to make up a considerable amount of ground. Barry Akers has just returned from a European tour with the WA Institute of Sport squad. As I mentioned, he's a former Australian under-20 champion. He actually qualified for the Olympics in 1988, but wasn't chosen to go, and the time that he ran to qualify would have actually placed him around about 6th in the Olympic final that year. He has a reputation for producing outstanding one-off performances each season, and I think he's going to have to produce a clutch of good performances this year to convince the national selectors that he's worthy of being chosen in Australian teams. But it's Sonia Laurie who leads into the straight. She was the outmarker, and she has a lead of about 10 or 15 metres at the moment, although she's about to be run down here by the runner coming through strongly in pink. Now that's obviously not the runner whose name we were given, and Akers is finishing very strongly. He might get up to finish 3rd, but Laurie is 2nd, and Akers has finished 3rd. And I'd like to be able to tell you who it was that won, but it's certainly not the person whose name we were given to be running in pink. There you see Sonia Laurie, who started from 28 seconds. And in fact, that's Rod Barnes, who has come through to win the event. And he is a distance runner of some repute in Western Australia. And Akers just failing to run down that leading bunch. So from the 800 metre, the Curtin University Sports Store 800 metres, we go to the Greyhound Racing gift 120 metre gift. An 800 metre athletes, you see the starter. Now there's a well-known name in West Australian sporting circles, Pam O'Connell, talking to Melanie Traynor. Pam O'Connell, of course, and husband John have bred some very talented West Australian athletes. She herself was an Australian 400 metres champion, and John was an outstanding decathlete in his day. But the parents of David and Michael O'Connell, and Peter, of course, who all of whom played league football in Western Australia. And one of their 2 daughters was also an outstanding hurdler. Sandy Rourke, who will start from 27 metres in this event. The outmarker here is Justine Dicker, who will start off 30 metres, and she will be giving Ben Collins, who is the back marker, a start of 26 metres over 120 metres. Now Collins is running in red. John Payne is the athlete just in front of him in white. Payne is a recognised 400 metre runner, so this distance probably a little bit too short for him, although obviously it would be an important part of any 400 metres runner's preparation. That's Jason Gillich, and in green is Troy Davey. So that's the group of back markers, but the athlete to watch here is Collins. He actually, I think he won this event last year from memory. And Collins got away very quickly. In fact, he may have almost broken, yes. And so the field will be recalled. Ben Collins, 3rd in the 1991 Burney gift. And he was a member of the Curtin relay team that won the national 4x100 metres title. In fact, that ran as the West Australian team. Kieran Finn is the athlete in blue, a former national 200-metre champion. He's from Ireland originally. We just wait for this field to reorganise. But the back markers with plenty to chase. Justine Dicker running in the silver top. The three girls out in front, in fact. Justine Dicker, Sandy Rourke is in black, and Melanie Traynor is in pink. So the field sets itself for the second time in this greyhound racing gift. Collins on the left, Payne next to him, Finn, Gillich and Davey. Those four athletes at the back, 5 athletes at the back. And there's another break. This time it's Payne who's walked out of the blocks in the silver top. Cam O'Connell, the starter, having some difficulty in getting this field away. Ben Collins is a very bright sprinting prospect. Third time lucky. Now Justine Dicker in silver will obviously lead early, but Collins will be the athlete to watch. Troy Davies running very strongly, and I'm not sure that they're going to catch these girls. Justine Dicker leads, Traynor coming through, and Rourke has finished third. So the three girls who were given a substantial start in that gift have been able to hold on, and Justine Dicker, who in fact is more of a javelin thrower than a sprinter, has won the greyhound racing gift, and she won from Sandy Rourke with Melanie Traynor finishing third. But you can see the three girls in the lanes 1, 2 and 3 on the right have won the event, with Dicker first, Traynor second and Rourke coming through and just holding on, I think, to finish third. But too much of a handicap there for the back markers to make up. And Justine Dicker, who, as I said, is primarily a javelin thrower, has won this event. But of course, sprinting and speed is a very important part of all the throwing events, and particularly in javelin, where speed on the runway is an important ingredient of a good javelin thrower's makeup. And obviously Justine Dicker has some speed, and she's used it to good effect here this afternoon. So Justine Dicker is the winner of the greyhound racing gift, and Rod Barnes was the winner of the Curtin University Sports Store 800 metres. There's the two winners, Rod Barnes on the right, Justine Dicker on the left.
Thanks very much to Wally Foreman with his commentary there on the two events. And the stage is set now for the second half of our grand final, with Claremont the 70-point lead over Subiaco. Let's find out some of the reasons why the Tigers have been so dominant. Here's Ken Casillas.
Time the Claremont captain, Mark Hand, has certainly led by example. He's been brilliant on his wing. 3 marks, 15 kicks in the first half. He had 9 kicks in the first quarter and another 6 in the second quarter. Kevin Mitchell's been a brilliant rover for Claremont with his 8 marks and 12 kicks, and he's kicked the ball with unerring accuracy, and he's also weighed in with a couple of goals himself. Malone playing in the centre, Rob Malone, he's up to create some sort of a history today. He's going to be one of the few players who played in a winning Colts premiership side, a winning reserves premiership side and a winning league premiership side. He played in the Colts side for Claremont 3 years ago, and Claremont's successful reserve side who won the grand final last year. and Malone has played very well in the centre. 11 kicks, 3 marks and 6 effective hand passes. He's an unobtrusive player but an outstanding prospect. So too is Andrew McGovern, another of the young Claremont players. 10 kicks in the first half, 5 in each of the first quarters, 5 marks and 2 effective hand passes. Mitchell White has battled hard in defence for Subiaco with his 10 kicks and 6 hand passes. And as always, Andrew McNish, a busy player for Subiaco. He's had 9 first half kicks, but he's been under enormous pressure, and of those 9 kicks, only 1 has gone to a teammate, so he hasn't been particularly effective, but nevertheless, he's one of the few Subiaco triers. Darryl Panizza, dominant at centre half back, where he's taken 1 mark. He's had 9 kicks and made 3 effective hand passes. Jason Norris, a busy midfielder with his 8 kicks. Jeremy Gard started brilliantly with 5 kicks early in the first quarter. He has 7 at half time. Tony Evans, playing mainly in a forward pocket, is far too good for Finton Maguire, and he's had 7 kicks. Paul Burton on the half-back flank for Claremont, another good player with 7 kicks, and Dale Edwards, an outstanding half-back flanker for the Claremont side with his 3 marks, 6 kicks and 2 effective hand passes. So as you can see, it's all Claremont in the first half here in the grand final as the umpires come out, and the second half is not very far away.
Thank you, Ken. Yes, umpires Garrett and Vernon escorted back onto the ground with the goal and boundary umpires Barry Cable. You were saying during the half-time break, during the athletics, which was well called by Wally, that Subiaco need to do so much in this second half now, just for even for their pride of the club.
Yeah, I'd like to think that at half-time that they've regrouped, and I'm sure that Hayden would be very conscientious of that and getting the players in a real positive frame of mind to come out and really have a go at Claremont in the right manner, really attack the ball hard, kick it long, and try to do something about getting themselves back in the game, because at the moment really it is one-sided. Claremont obviously the best side in the competition, but at the same time I think Subi can play a lot better than they've played.
For our regional viewers around Western Australia, we were treated to a spectacular opening before the start of this match. Let's have a look at some of the highlights of that. The arrival of Todd Johnson, who of course sang the national anthem, and the captains of the Little League, Claremont and Subiaco. Barry Cable's satchel full of money, and Wally Foreman's uncle, who arrived at the start of this match. But it was a spectacular start, as you will see very shortly. Young talent on display.
Yes, that's terrific, isn't it? And that was the Lions there opening up, and Claremont coming through their banner. It was a great display, and it's just terrific to see all the kids out on the ground.
Todd Johnson singing the national anthem, and there's a young entertainer.
It's Monahan rather, not Cocker. Over the top, it comes down to Gard, who hooks over his shoulder. That's a miraculous kick from Gard. He's put it through.
With Kickett again, elusively gets it back to Hand. Hand from the boundary line. Oh, look at this kick. Another spectacular goal, this time from the Claremont captain.
Claremont, and still waiting for Subiaco. Here they come now. The Lions, obviously a little refreshed, and their ears, no doubt, would be ringing from what Hayden Bunton would have had to say to them. Let's hope they can lift their tempo in this second half. Gee, you've got to go back a long way before you see the last close grand final way back in 1978. Record books show that close grand finals are a rarity.
Bit of a shame, isn't it? The weather played a big part in that one too, of course.
Yes, of
it was
course.
a terrible day with East Perth and Perth involved. But Ken's come up with some very interesting statistics here too, Trevor, on that first half. Team statistics. Claremont had 44 marks to Subiaco's 21, so they've taken more than twice the number of marks that Subi took. They had 127 kicks compared to 79, nearly 50 more, 48 more, 47 effective hand passes to Claremont, 39 to Subiaco, so that's a little more equitable. And the free kicks are 11 to Claremont and 8 to Subiaco, and I suspect that the Subiaco crowd thought they got a pretty raw deal during the course of that first half, Barry, but I thought it was clearly a case of the team being first to the ball being advantaged by the umpire.
No doubt about that. And Subi were just a little bit frustrated that Claremont got away to such a good start, and they just couldn't get themselves back into the game. But Hepburn's been an interesting one coming on for Claremont when they've had a few problems. And at one stage we felt that they looked a little bit top heavy up there until the last 5 minutes of that second quarter, when he was able to take a couple of good marks and kicked one goal. But Claremont overall has just been far too good, and that number one there, young John Hutton, he's really given them something to think about up there. He really livens the forward line up.
We talked about the 1978 Grand Final. Of course, you played in that, Barry, for the Demons?
Yes, I did. I was captain coach for East Perth, 78. Yes, and it was a terrific win. And I agree with Wall. I think the conditions helped a little bit there. Not helped us win, but made it a lot closer.
We've actually overlooked a very close grand final in '85, Trevor, when there was only 5 points between East Fremantle and Subi. Ken again has picked that up for us. It was 15-12 to 14-13, with East Fremantle defeating Subiaco 102 to 97. So that one does come in between some of these others. But since then, 69 points in '86 when Subi beat East Fremantle, 71 when Claremont beat Subi, 62 when Subi beat Claremont, 67 when Claremont beat Souths, and then last year 26 points when Swans beat Claremont. So yes, the recent record of close grand finals is not good.
The highest score kicked by Perth way back in 1977, 26 goals, 13, 169, and they defeated the Sharks 14-12, 96. So that record also could tumble later on this afternoon if Claremont maintain this current scoring rate. What can the Lions do? Let's hope they can roar a little louder in this second half.
Well, they've had it, they've had half time, haven't they, to really think about it. And there's Mick Lee and McNeish. McNeish has done a good job, and Mick Lee, I think, is inclined to do a lot of running around, but not doing a great deal.
Matthew Burton going off. And as I said, he hadn't done a lot around the ground. He got 7 kicks, I noticed in the stats. Not many of those would have been effective, though, Ken, would they?
That was Paul Burton having 7 kicks.
Oh, sorry. How many did Matthew get?
Matthew had 3 kicks only and 2 hand passes. So he wasn't very busy around the field.
Well, he's had to make some big changes, Bunton, hasn't he? And one of them is to put Cocker on the ball, which leaves a big gap at centre-half back where he was doing quite well. And I think Coyle might have gone there.
Centre bounce to start the second half of the grand final. Clark may have just won that tap. Simons is pounced on by the troops. McGovern rubbed him with the football, kicks to half forward. Golding's there, caught by Kickett, but breaks the tackle. Well played, Wayne Golding. Kick to the point of the square at half forward. Beresford strong in defence. And he's got Malone out wide. Short-circuiting that, though, is Kemp, who back-fisted it over the boundary, and a throw-in on the members' side of the ground. Subiaco going into the breeze in this term.
Just trying to work out who else went off the ground for Claremont with Wolf, Trevor, and I think it might be Evans.
We'll be feeling the effects of that collision which occurred in the second term. McNeish on all fours, gets it to Williams, who found it hard to control. Still he goes, bumped over by Mitchell in the back, according to the umpire.
It doesn't look as though he's out on the ground, Evans.
Well, that'd be a blow for them because he's been a very constructive forward this afternoon.
Good footballer. Williams goes very short. Kemp, half forward, tries to run around Clark, gets a wobbly kick in, and because he was off balance and more concerned about being pushed out of bounds, the kick has lacked any sort of direction.
Burton spears the pass into Mitchell. He wasn't able to control it. As a result, Georgiadis has a chance. He didn't commit himself fully. Claremont had the chance to break it up now. McGovern gets it to Norrish, who I think has put it out on the full. No, Kickett charging it down and takes a good mark. He had Golding and the boundary line to think about. Plays on quickly with a beautiful kick, has found Malone. Malone is at left centre wing. Miles wants it short, and he's got it. Good kick, good lead. They're running hard again, the Claremont forwards. Hutton is the target here. They use the ball so well. A highly skilled team. They've got genuine pace all over the ground. And that has contributed, or those attributes have contributed to the shot at goal from John Hutton. He's kicked 3 so far this afternoon. They've kicked goals over long distances at this eastern end of the ground during the first half. Let's see what Hutton can do here. That's another very long kick and a very straight one. The 4th goal in this grand final to John Hutton, and the 14th for the Tigers. They're 14-7, Subi at 2-3.
There's Jeff Miles sending the pass down. And Hutton's made himself available, which he's done most of the day.
The kick to position, Barry, was perfect, wasn't it?
And this was a powerful kick. This is a second real big kick he's kicked outside the 50 metre. Admittedly, he's got the breeze behind his shoulder there, but just the same, it's a beautiful kick.
It's gone every bit of 60-odd metres, hasn't it?
Oh, sure.
Edwards' hand pass was intercepted by Simons, who's kicked across the centre of the ground, marked by hand. Subiaco can do no right in this match so far. Cowell goes to the ground from a push. He'll take the free kick at right half forward. So much for his injury. He was supposed to be out of the match through injury, but he's out there doing his best. Hepburn hooks. He's just offline. So Claremont again doing all the attacking at the start of the third quarter, and the exhibition continues.
Connell about to come on, Trevor, and I think it's Hunter who will go off.
Connell started well, played it out quickly. Monaghan back into play. Miles too easy. Not sure who the target was meant to be, but Miles will thump this back to the goal square. The drop punt's on its way. It's a great kick. They'll contest in the square. Hutton up high with Cocker, and they force the behind. He's got a tremendous leap, that man. He's already got 4 goals to his credit. Mitchell has got 2 and Kickett 1. I misled you earlier.
And I continue to stand by my statement that John Hutton is the longest kick in the Football League in Western Australia.
There's quite a few things you stand by. This is found Breeman. Now he's at centre half back. The kick out wide is a beautiful kick. It landed with McNish. That tells the story of the day, I think. Beresford to Malone, back to McGovern. From the crest on the wing, he kicks to half forward, but this is ill-directed, and the mark has been taken by Williams.
Williams plays on, but that's dangerous too, because Kickett had Maguire covered. Back goes Kickett again, brilliantly done. Guard sweeps it out to Malone. Malone down in the direction of Hepburn, who took the ball well, but was claimed from behind. Tries to soccer it away from his opponent, Mitchell White, but it came off that player's legs and has gone out for a throw-in just inside Claremont's 50-metre line. In fact, just outside their 50-metre line. But well done again by Dale Kickett. He didn't worry about playing the tackle on the first play because he knew exactly what he was going to do. This time the throw-in will be just inside 50 metres.
The way he's played today, he could be playing himself into an AFL Grand Final.
Hepburn being opposed by Cocker. Kickett going through the pack. Taken very high.
Maguire has been right off the boil today, Ken, hasn't he?
Yes.
Very hard player to contain, though, isn't he, Dale Kickett?
You don't contain him like that, do you?
It's an easy free kick, isn't it? But he's been terrific, Dale Kickett, going in after the ball.
Doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Barry, and goes through the pack.
And he's got great skill, got great touch with the ball.
He's kicked 1. And he still has kicked 1.
Not very often you can come to the football and have a tonsillectomy the same day. 14-10-94 to 2-3-15. And it's Monaghan with Subiaco with no purpose in their football whatsoever. McNish will ride over Miles, and he's given away the kick. Well, a bit soft, umpire Vernon, for mine. Umpire Garrett now comes in to set the mark, and Miles will thump this back to the square again. That's off the side of the boot, wobbly punt. Maguire couldn't hang on. Kickett's in there again. He's dangerous wherever he is, Kickett. This time White dives in on top of him to bottle it up. There he is, emerging from underneath the legs and arms. He's been a real dynamo today for the Tigers in the forward area. There's no stopping Claremont today. Hepburn wins the tap. Monaghan going the wrong way. He's on the goal line now. Goes into the pocket. The lead is from Dargy. Where's he been today? He's tackled out there by Hand. Back up from Norrish. Caught by Snow. Back to Hand. Dargy left him. There's the kick towards full forward. Williams should mark, and does on his chest. 94 plays 15 into the third quarter of the grand final. More trouble here.
Well, he went looking for Simons, but Simons was being stood by McGovern. So McGovern's come out with the ball. It's back in the Claremont goal square. Hutton at the back, Hepburn in front. Kick it! And he did just that.
Great.
15-10 to 2-3. He is at the ball all the time. He's first to the ball. He gives himself every chance of getting it, and if he doesn't get it, every chance of getting a free kick.
And plus, I think you might find with this kick too, Hutton looks as though he could have got a free kick. If you watch Hutton behind here, watch. Anyway, Kickett was good enough to come across the front of the pack here. Magnificent right foot snap. And he's been really dangerous. And yeah, he's a very good player. Outstanding player, Dale Kickett. He's been outstanding again today.
Monahan gave Hutton a sausage sizzle.
Yeah, well, he could have got the free kick as well.
Clark to Mitchell to guard. The exhibition rolls on. The kick to full forward. Intercepting this time is Bremen in front of Hutton. Bremen switched into defence. He's got plenty of work to do as he finds Williams, who's been busy. He's had a couple of bounces to steady, then goes very short and finds Connell. Almost went square, in fact. And that has been the method of their play, which is very ineffective. And now this man is just completely bewildered of where to go and what to do.
Doesn't know what's going on.
That game 10 metres to Williams. Another 15 metres to Hutchinson. In come the troops. Hutchinson just in time into the pocket. Willett got a hand to that. Coyle's there for a moment. And Gilbert bustles him over. Hunter prepares to come back on. Gee, that's a shady part of the ground. There's Coyle. Popper's worked hard today, number 1. Glenn Coyle has not been sighted.
I don't know who to take off.
Beresford clears it out of the danger zone. That's a good mark to Simons. Runs away from McGovern. Got his kick in.